Hi, my name is Wesley Carlskint, and this is my video presentation. The question I set out to discover was, when do people actually begin to heed the advice they hear from urban legends? Does the story actually have to be told from a first-hand source before we receive a lesson from it? When we tell our friend the story of the killer in the back seat, is he actually going to check his back seat the next time he gets into his car? Also, another question that I had that corresponds with the first, when we retell these stories, whether it happened to us personally or we heard it from a secondhand source, are we doing this to try to convey a lesson, to convey a warning, or are we just doing this for entertainment purposes or trying to evoke an emotional response, trying to relive an emotion that once was felt by the original observer? This is what I found out.
Do you know what an urban legend is?
Yeah.
Okay, in your own words, what is an urban legend?
It is a story that's been passed down of it's always something that happened to a friend of a friend of something.
You hear a rumor of a haunted story, and
that people have heard of from an unexpected source, I guess, something that has happened.
There's an urban legend that tells of a story of a gang initiation ritual in which the wannabe member was forced to drive around without his headlights on, and the first person to flash courtesy headlights at him, he would be forced to follow and then kill in order to get into the gang. All of my interviewees had heard at least a variation of this story, so I pressed on to see if any of my interviewees had actually received a lesson from this story.
basically, if you're driving down the road and somebody flashes their lights at you, in an attempt to get another person to flash back, then they'll go after that person and try to kill them. That's what I've heard.
That someone drives around with no lights on, and when you flash your brights at them, then they turn around and follow you.
Where did you hear that story from?
Ooh. I don't even know.
I don't know where I heard that story from. I just heard it.
Could you tell me where you heard that story from?
I have no idea.
Do you know where you heard that story from?
Probably just a friend, honestly. I can't even remember. You just kind of hear things from groups of people.
Yes, I would hesitate.
I still don't really flash my headlights at people.
Definitely be hesitant to flash my lights at somebody, especially if I were driving at home by myself at night. It may be an urban legend, but there could definitely be some truth to that, and I don't really want to mess with that.
Since a lot of urban legends tend to be on the unexplainable or even supernatural side of things, I asked all of my interviewees if they had ever personally experienced anything supernatural or unexplainable. And if so, if they had ever retold their experience to anybody, and if so, for what reason. I thought that in this way I could better understand and discover the correlation between our own storytelling and urban legends.
Have you ever had a seemingly supernatural or unexplained experience happen to you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I guess so.
After my dad died, we kind of felt he was in the room with us.
An unexplainable experience happened to you?
A long time ago, whenever I was little, just
Necessarily.
blowing around in your room whenever you're little, but no windows are open.
Okay. Okay, have you ever told that to anybody? That story?
Yeah.
Did you ever retell any of those stories to anybody else?
Yes.
You ever told that to anybody?
Yeah, it's been a while. Whenever it gets brought up, if anybody asks about
Supernatural experience.
yeah, or if you're sitting around a campfire and you're wanting to scare people.
So, in conclusion, the answer to my question seems almost obvious. When do people begin to heed advice from urban legends? When the urban legend is relevant to them. When the urban legend is relevant to them, they tend to listen more or heed the advice more. Now, going on to the second part of my question, is that why we are retelling these stories to help convey a lesson? It does not seem that way. It seems as though when we retell these stories, whether they happen to us personally or whether we heard them from a second-hand source, we are retelling these stories for entertainment purposes only. It seems as though if a lesson is learned from this, it is purely coincidental. Well, this has been my video presentation. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you.